Oh, happy Friday. September the freaking 18th, baby. 2020. I am Stephen Muehlhausen, Sporting News and DAZN. Daryl Rivera will be joining me in a few short moments. Wow, what a day. What a week. It's good to be back. Sorry we weren't on Wednesday. My little guy got in a little accident, so I had to take care of him before I could go do anything else. So, but he is okay, thankfully. He is okay. One thing I've learned. My oldest is 4 years old. And man, he was a lot easier than this one, and he's 15 months, and I'm like, oh man, this kid's killing me. But I love him. I think he's great, and he is absolutely amazing. But welcome to the Walkway to Fight Club. I am Stephen Muehlhausen, of writer for Sporting News and DAZN. Thank you everyone that's been subscribing. It means a lot. It is so freaking greatly appreciated. You guys have no idea how much it means to me. You really don't. So I went from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. It means a ton. Man, Twitter's messing up here. But no, it means a ton. And you guys got no idea how much it means. So for that, I thank you. A lot of new subscribers. A lot of people watching on Facebook. A lot of people watching on YouTube. Getting subscribers up on YouTube. Getting a little bit of an uptick on the likes and the followers. So thank you so much. It means a lot. It's good to be back. I've missed you guys. If you're watching via YouTube, it's simple. Do what you guys have been doing. Tell your friends. Tell everybody. Hit that dang subscribe button. Just hit it. Not hard. Boom. Subscribe. Already got a thumbs up. Boom. There's a thumbs up. You even want to do it better. If you're on Facebook. Watching Facebook Live. Hit that reaction. Good, bad, thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. If you want to give me a thumbs down, do that too. If you're angry with me today, say why you're angry with me today. If you want to give me a ha ha ha, like my Dallas Cowboys this past Sunday, you can do that as well. But follow the page. Follow the Walkway to Fight Club Facebook page. Hey, there's a thumbs up. Thank you. Whoever did that, thank you. I love you. Give me a thumbs up. Follow the Walkway to Fight Club on Facebook, and also give us a like as well. We're trekking up, moving up a little bit. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys. So I already comment. You guys must have missed me, because I sure as hell missed you. Don't forget, this will also be up on audio. We got some cool audio coming up. Coming up tomorrow. I got some special Saturday stuff for you guys. The podcast is available on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, and all your favorite podcasting platforms. Subscribe, rate, download, leave a comment, give the 5-star ratings to the podcast. It really does mean a lot, and it is greatly appreciated. So thank you so much. We will start with my over. Is Daryl Rivera join us in a little bit? An intriguing SmackDown. I thought this first hour of SmackDown sucked. It was awful. It was one of the worst first hours, and I'm thinking, oh my God, we're going towards a crappy show. After we've had some really good SmackDowns the last, I would say, 4 weeks. 3-4 weeks. I think we've had some really, really, really good shows. I'm watching this first hour. I want to take a nap. I'm like, my goodness, I'm ready to snooze. I need it. I was ready to say we're not podcasting tonight. I forget that. I don't want to talk about crap. I don't want to be down. But you know what? That second hour, soon as they hit the bump, when they just, highlighted the Reigns Uso program, went into stuff with Sasha Banks and Bayley. From there, through to the end of the show, SmackDown gets a B tonight. How do you grade SmackDown? Do you give it an A? Do you give it a B? Do you give it a C? Do you give it a D? Do you give it an F? Or we can even go this route, guys. We could go with an incomplete. What do you guys think? I have to give it, I'm going by the first hour. I will go with a D minus. It will get a 60%. Why? Because they at least adhered to show Michael Cole wasn't as annoying as usual. I will be fair in that Cole wasn't that annoying tonight. Not as annoying as he usually is. But that second hour was really good. And that was like an A++ in my mind. Just because, to me, the key stuff that made sense, the key stuff that they're focusing on was fantastic. A great job by Roman Reigns. A great job by Paul Heyman. A great job by Jey Uso. A great job by Bayley. And a great job by Sasha Banks. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for the key stuff to hit. That's exactly what you're looking for. And they did that tonight. I was surprised they did that. Because usually knowing WWE, they go 1 hour is, when the first hour is bad, the rest of the show is usually a shit show. That didn't happen tonight. But they surprised me. And I have to give them credit for that. Man, let's see. Well, man, I got to look at these comments. Man, you guys are just... Welcome, Steve. No, thank you. Thank you. Damn, well, you're welcome, Richard. Welcome, my friend. Matt Ward. Okay, we got a... Richard McPhee gives the show a plus. What? Okay. Okay, Richard, why do you give it a C, my friend? Please tell me why you give it a C. Matt Ward has a grade. My internet is freezing here. I do apologize. Uh-oh. We have a problem here. I am frozen. Here, man, what's going on here? Let's see. Hello. Okay, we're just on a little bit of a lag. Return was epic, I'd say. And the return of Big E. How do I... All right, hold on. We need to... I don't know what's going on. What's going on here? Give me 1 second. Give me your thoughts on Friday Night SmackDown tonight. Give it an A, give it a B, give it a C, give it a D, or do you give it an F? I'm still giving it a B. I agree with Matt Ward. Matt Ward, they get a C tonight. Am I good now? Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. It's kind of hard here. Kind of difficult. Okay. All right, let's start with the big stuff. The Roman Reigns, Jey Uso title program. I've really had my doubts. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie to all of you guys. I wasn't too convinced when the WWE went this route. I didn't figure why. Why are we going this route? You could have went the route of Big E. You could have went the route of Sheamus. I personally would have went the route of Matt Riddle. I don't think like, oh, you're riding the Riddle bandwagon. I'm really not. I'm just using common sense. But they decided to go with Jey Uso, and you know what? It's actually turned out to be pretty good. It's just because, I don't know if it's because Jey Uso is playing the dummy. I don't want to call Jey Uso a dummy. I really don't. I just didn't think he had the singles vibe in him. I think if that's the correct verbiage to use. But I will give Jey Uso credit. He's looked great. He's just playing this happy-go-lucky guy who's the cousin of the big dog, and he's getting a shot at the Universal title. He's like a freaking kid in the damn candy store. And I have no problem with that. It's like he's playing the naive family member who just wants to have a good match with his cousin and wants to walk out and wants to win the Universal title. But then you have the cousin. Then you have, no pun intended, you have the champion, the big dog, who's looking at it like, I wanted him in the match because he'd be the easiest person to beat. When in turn, Jey Uso's looked really good, which has seemed to surprise Big Cousin. And then it's turned into, you can see the disdain. You can see it's eating a hole in him that he hasn't kicked his ass yet and just turned on him. But he knows he's blood, the Samoan heritage. You don't turn on your family. He hasn't done that. And you could see, and I was shocked, he came out to begin the match. Yeah, he cut the promo, but I was like, wasn't expecting that. I'm like, okay. At first, I was sad. I'm like, oh man, because I really enjoyed what they've been doing with Roman and him not coming out until the end. I'm like, oh man, I love what they're doing here. This is great. But then he came out, so he's gonna run through everybody. They went to commercial. Uso came out, and then they went off on their merry way. But I'm like, okay, I see what they're doing. And the match was what the match was. I'm shocked Reigns took that much of an attack. I really would have had him running rogue shot over everybody. I was admittedly surprised by that. I wouldn't have gone that route. But that's not me. I would have kept him extremely strong, which they didn't do. So that was a little bit of a shock. But I was like, all right, okay, I'm willing to give it a chance. Okay. Let's see what you're going to do. And, well, sorry there, guys. And the match actually turned out to be pretty good. Better than I thought. And the right team won. And I thought that in the ending was very crazy. I didn't like the fact that Reigns almost took power spots. He went into the steps. He got hit with the face with a chair. Wasn't really the biggest fan of that. I liked when he got the comeback, though. I like how he got rid of Sheamus. I like the spear through the barricade. That was really cool. I thought that was well done. got back into the ring with Corbin, and I like that little thing where you went to grab the scepter. Jey Uso hit him with the belt. I was like, okay, I see where you're going, Jey Uso. Spear. Uso hits the splash from the top, and you could see Reigns like, well, okay. His timing's there. Okay, cousin. And he just kind of looked like it was like a shock / disdain to me to get the pin. When he saw Jay getting the pin, I'm like, okay. I like what they were doing there. And then you can just see the look. And you couldn't. I like when you have to think, because you're trying to figure out what he's thinking there. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was good. And then like he has the belt, and he was gonna act like he was gonna raise it up. But I just love that, because then he's like, nah, and he throws it back to Roman. Throws it back to Roman. You could tell Roman was pissed. He's like, how dare you touch my title? And then you toss it to me like a pile of garbage. Like it's nothing. I love that. And then like they're hugging, and then Uso's like, he's like a happy-go-lucky guy. You know, he's hugging Roman. They're both smiling, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the ass whooping. We didn't get the ass whooping. Yeah, Roman's still smiling, and those teeth are terrible. It's horribly white. Those are awful. I've never seen worse teeth. Teeth are fucking horrendous. And as soon as Uso turned his back, Paul Heyman walked into the ring. He's smiling, and then you can see it turns into a scowl. There's like this disdain of like, I want to go and I want to beat your ass. And he gives that little side eye to Heyman. I loved it. Everything about that was fucking great. The facial expressions is what's selling this here. And then Uso's just walking, oh yeah, you know, I'm Jay freaking Uso. And happy as can be in the fact that he's the Universal Champion. Man, the Nuggets losing to the Lakers. The Lakers, 70-59. The Lakers taking care of business here. But I have to admit, I will eat some damn crow. Jey Uso is impressing me in this program. I still wouldn't have gone this route. But I hate giving Bruce Pritchard any credit, because I think he's archaic and I think he's out of touch. The same thing with Vince McMahon. But I will admit, this program has me intrigued, because I'm give the credit to Heyman. We know Pritchard's archaic. We know he's got his lips stapled to Vince McMahon's ass and only writes for Vince. And Vince is an idiot. Sorry, he's a moron. This has got Paul Heyman's hands written all over it. And if you disagree with me on that, be free to leave a comment. I would appreciate if you do. I would love to spar with somebody who wants to disagree with me on this. Hey, God, I love you guys. But no, how would you grade this title program so far? I know we still got one more show, and then we got the match at Clash of Champions. But I have to give credit where credit is due right now. I have to give this program an A. I really, really do. I think they've done a good job when this program had no reason doing a good job whatsoever. But I've come away very, very impressed with what they have done to this point. Can it continue next week? Can the match be good at Clash of Champions? I don't know. I don't have enough faith in them to do that. If we're going to be honest with ourselves. Because they always tend to screw it up. But heck, every blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while. But no, the programs, we know the title program isn't going to, we know the title isn't going to change. We should know where this destination is going. But I want to know if they can keep this momentum going. But now they've made Uso look strong, but I'm still not a believer. They haven't done of why do I want to see the match? They made Uso look strong. Look good tonight. He's looked solid in this last couple weeks. But how can you convince me now that he's going to beat Roman Reigns and become the Universal Champion? You need to give me that final hook. You have to give me the reason. And here he is. I think he's here. I think I see him. Hey, the sexiest Puerto Rican in combat sports. DY Daryl Rivera is in the house, and we'll just jump right into it, Daryl. We're finishing up thoughts on this program, and after hearing about SmackDown, seeing SmackDown, and everything in between, the program has been good. But are you convinced yet that in any way, shape, or form, that Jey Uso can beat Roman Reigns and give you that belief he can beat Reigns to become the Universal Champion?
No, just because I briefly read what happened, and the way they're booking him is good. They're booking him to look like a strong, like, contender, so-and-so. But the realistic fan in me, and history tells us Reigns is not going to lose the title in his first defense back. It's not happening, especially not to somebody that just got off the tag team division and came out of nowhere just because he's Roman Reigns' cousin. I hope they don't book a screwy finish, personally. I hope it's just a dominant win by Reigns to establish him even more. But I don't see Jey Uso as a credible threat for the Universal title.
And this has been my issue with this program to begin with, is it came out of nowhere and Uso had no believability. Like, they've made him strong. Like, they've booked him good in the essence of he's wrestling, because he's always been a good wrestler. But now he's getting to show that. His promos have been fine. I wish they'd be a little better, not as hokey. But that's who he is. He is who he is. But like, I like the little nuance tonight of, like, feigning holding the belt, like, gonna raise the belt and then tosses it to Roman. Like, his timing of saving Roman from getting hit by the scepter and then hitting the perfect timing with the splash for the pin and the pin on Baron Corbin to get the win. And, like, the timing is good. All of that is good. But I still don't have a reason why I want to watch the match. How is Jey Uso going to win? I still don't believe he's going to win. Playing the cousin versus cousin angle, okay, it's cool, in its own way, but it's not. You're not making it a main event program. That's more. You're making that more. It's more mid card. I see U.S. title type of TNT title. If we're going to talk AEW situation like that.
Yeah.
They need to do something next week because they only got one show left. So he's got to look strong next week because the way that show ended, Roman Reigns is pissed. He's ready to beat his ass. Is Jey Uso smart enough to know that? Did he look at the Titantron and notice that when his back was turned to his cousin while he's walking up the ramp? He's got to do something to Roman to make people believe. Because right now I don't. You don't.
It was too soon. Like I said, they're booking him right. It's just it came out of nowhere. It doesn't have enough time to build it to a credible threat. That's the biggest thing. You made an angle that could take maybe 6 to 8 weeks to build, and you're trying to build it in a couple, and that's why it's not getting built. Like the way they're doing it is fine. You're making Jey Uso look like a credible threat at some points, but at the same time, the casual fan or the hardcore fan knows he's a tag team guy. Where did he come from? Why is he getting this push? That type of thing. When you have credible singles competitors like Hardy, Styles, I'll even put Corbin in there since he's mega heel. That type of stuff. Sheamus, in my opinion, deserves a better run than Uso.
Get the hell out of here! You've been on like 3 minutes. You got me mad already. Sheamus?
Yep. I'll take Sheamus over Jey Uso.
Maybe in 2010, 2011.
Give him one last run. You already gave Mickie James a title match. Might as well give it to Sheamus too.
So we can see just as bad as a match as we saw on Monday.
Roman Reigns can work a match with Sheamus.
Asuka's a better hand than Roman Reigns. GTFOH, Rivera.
I'm just saying you have a better build-wise, you have a better program that you can build with Sheamus and Jey Uso. Jey Uso, it should have taken you at least 2 months to build. Sheamus, you could have gone straight off the bat. You know what? This could be a squash match. Bury him. It is what it is. On to the next guy. That's all I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that Roman Reigns for Sheamus is going to be a barn burner by any means of the word. Because
now you're backtracking here.
I'm not backtracking.
You were backtracking.
I'm saying because out of the two, between Jey Uso and Sheamus, Jey Uso's the more talented wrestler. I will go on that one. But right now,
the only thing you've said so far.
Yeah, but that's what I've been trying to say. Right now, what I would have booked is go because Roman Reigns didn't go full heel. Everybody's like, "Oh, he's heel." But it's not something that he's like. He didn't beat the hell out of somebody to turn heel. He's just like, "Hey, I'm done playing around. I'm beating everyone's ass." Go Sheamus, squash him, and then you can build the Jey Uso program. By building it the way that they did, they only had 2 to 3 weeks to build when it's a program that should have taken you 6 to 8 weeks to build. Add that momentum onto Jey Uso as a singles threat, as opposed to 3 weeks, and nobody's going to have any belief in him that he's going to win in Clash of Champions. You can have a fluke win, but what's this going to get you? It's going to bring Roman down. It's going to bump up ratings, sure, but at the end of the day, it's just keeping you at the same spot. That's all I was trying to say. You go with a squash rivalry first, then you go to the long build storyline.
Why didn't you just say that to begin with? Instead of saying you'd rather see Sheamus and then saying Roman Reigns is better than Asuka.
I did not say that Roman Reigns is better than Asuka. I said if you hold on. You're no. Here's what I said. Here's what I said. I said Roman, if Mickie James got a title shot, might as well give it to a veteran like Sheamus too. Because Asuka needed hold on before you get going. All I'm saying is that the veteran Mickie James' job was to what? Make Asuka look good like a credible champion. That was her job.
I don't know what Mickie did in that match. She looked awful.
But at the same time, it was built. It was built for what? For the purpose of giving Asuka a title defense, because they had nobody else. They had nobody else.
Whose fault is that?
You can blame the 74-year-old man that's sitting in the chair. That's fine. But at the same time,
you could have went with Bianca Belair. You could have went with Zelina Vega. You could have went with freaking Nia Jax for all I care.
She's on the tag title thing right now.
You still could have put her in there because the goal is Baszler and Asuka. That's what they're going to lead into going into the fall.
Which is fine. But all I'm saying is they booked Mickie James for what? Ratings, nostalgia factor. Hey, legend.
Get out of here.
Dude, you know exactly why they built her in there.
Get out of
You know
here
exactly why they did it.
Get the hell out of here with that. Where's my thing for my coconut water? How dare you? The fans want to see my White Sox thing, and now you got me all mad. Got me all riled up.
All right.
And I can get like this. You want to know why, Daryl? I was in a good mood all day. Because I'm home alone. I'm home alone. As much as I miss my kids and my wife. So I can be a little more boisterous tonight. And right now, you're just talking hogwash.
Come on, Steve. You know it makes sense to do that. It makes sense to do that. I never said at any point that Asuka was an inferior wrestler to Roman Reigns. I never said that. I said that if you're going to give Mickie James a title shot, might as well do it the same thing with Sheamus because you need to make Roman Reigns look like a strong heel. Somebody that can get the job done. That's what you wanted to do. The fact that Mickie James, that was the purpose of Mickie James. That was the purpose. What happened is the clusterfuck that we got on Monday Night Raw. That's a different story. That wasn't supposed to happen.
Well, the referee, the match sucked. The match was made worse because the referee fucked up.
Exactly. So that the fact you can pin it on Mickie James, but the goal of that match that was not accomplished was for Mickie James and Asuka to make Asuka look strong. The fact that Mickie James came out the way that she did, you can clearly tell that it was not expected by anybody involved. Now, what I'm trying to say is that they should have gone to another rivalry like Sheamus and leave the Jey Uso storyline for something that you have a longer term to build. That's all I'm saying. At no point did I say that Roman Reigns was a better wrestler than Asuka, because in no world, not this one, not Mars, not the next one, no world is Roman Reigns better than Asuka at wrestling. No chance. What I was trying to say is, booking-wise, Sheamus made more sense, or anybody else that could have gotten squashed at Clash of Champions and could take the hit. Somebody like Sheamus can take that hit because that's all he is. He's a veteran that's going to get squashed. He's going to put talent over. That's all I'm saying.
But the problem with Sheamus is it's the same old crap. No one wants to see that. You might as well go with Jey Uso if your best option is Sheamus. I'm sorry. The same thing with Mickie James. I will give you this. You're right about Mickie James. I hope that's the last time I see her in a title match because she was awful. The match just sucked. But if you can't come up with something better than, and this isn't you, but if our best option at this point is Sheamus, that shows an inadequacy of WWE.
Yeah, and I wasn't saying Sheamus specifically. I said guys like a Sheamus, like a Baron Corbin.
I got
like even
guy who we're tired of seeing face Roman Reigns.
Exactly. And Matt Ward here brought up a good name. Shorty G would have been a good one.
I saw that. No, man, let's get to that, actually. I want to give Matt props for that because I did see that. Let me bring that up here.
Because that's a good name, too.
But see, I love Chad Gable. And the fact that we even called him Shorty G is a disgrace to all three of us.
I hate that name, yeah. I hate the name.
The name is god-awful. And I have to say this because it agrees with my point. And Richard McPhee, you are right, my friend. Mickie James is nothing more than hot garbage now. Hot garbage. She's 40, and this isn't because she's old, but she's 41. Don't get me wrong. She looks great. She's had some good matches. But I think the time is done for good old Mickie. I don't need to see her in any. Hopefully, but knowing WWE, we're going to see on Monday a title match between Asuka and because that's just what WWE does. Now, let's get to the other good part of the show here. Now, when the WWE advertised the return of Sasha Banks on Sunday, which I have to give credit for, it was done during football. They did voiceovers. That was great. Now, they tugged at their emotions because it was like, why is she already coming back? But the way they did it, they had her not in the Thunderdome. They had her at the PC. And you can tell she was at the PC. You can tell by all the warehouse garbage and everything in between. And talking about what happened. I like the fact she was in a neck brace. I'll start there. I thought that was well done. They recapped the attack. She got, yes, we always talk about that, DY. We always talk about those little things. Spot on, my friend. Talking about the friendship with Bayley. Brought up the fact that Bayley said last week that Banks was using her and that she was useless. Then I like how she went into like the whole, we started together at the PC. We vowed we would take over WWE together. We were on our way to doing that. And then she got mad and called her an idiot. And said, you, Bayley, are nothing without me. I helped you become Becky Dos Peltz. Not God, Bayley Dos Peltz. God, I'm thinking about Becky Lynch. I wish she was back. She promised to take away the SmackDown Women's Championship because it's the only thing Bayley cares about. And then, boom! Hit her ass with the chair, Rivera. Beat her ass again with the chair. Placed her head in the chair. But she did it around too many people because the WWE officials came. They broke it up. Bayley walked off. Great job here by WWE. Great job by Bayley. Great promo by Sasha Banks. Man, those two are on hitting every cylinder right now. I wasn't too enthused about the return, Daryl, but the way they went about it was you're not going to be near her. You're going to be in another building. You're going to wear the neck brace. You're going to cut the promo. You're going to cut the sympathetic babyface promo. And then here comes the heel out of nowhere and beats your ass again. Well done.
Very well done. And like I said, I didn't see the promo yet. That's something I'm going to watch as soon as this podcast is over. But I did skim through it, did see what had happened, and it's just booking 101, people. This is how you book a long-term friendship rivalry that's waiting to happen. You make it the biggest deal on the show, and not only that, you make people want more. The fact that you had it on two different buildings, the fact that you had Bayley attack her again, now I want to see more. I want to see what she's going to respond with. This build is, I'm hoping they take it all the way to Mania. Because this is a Mania-worthy rivalry. This is, if we could repeat an Iron Woman match between Bayley and Sasha, a rematch for that, I will love that more than anything on that card.
I'm in.
Take my money. You already take it with the streaming service, but
you could.
You already take my $9.99 every month.
Only $9.99. I think it's okay. It's only $9.99. It could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. I know it could be, but
it's a good deal.
You know, oh no, for what they offer, I don't like giving them credit much, but they're doing this right, and I would go with. I agree with you. You have to push this all the way as far as you can. You can't go like Hell in a Cell or Survivor Series, and you can go through challengers here. You can, like, you're going Nikki Cross this month. You can go Alexa. You can even have Nikki win the damn title. Have Bayley win it back. Do a Hell in a Cell. there's different ways you can go about this here to where if you do this at Hell in a Cell, because a lot of people have brought this up to me, and I'm like, that's where you end the feud. Or you like the Iron Woman match. You can't go with this program coming right out. You can't blow your load, as they say, all in one take. Extend this as long as you can. It's a WrestleMania worthy program. I wouldn't have Banks come back now. I don't want to see her for a month. I don't want to see her till after. I don't want to see her till like Survivor Series.
I don't want to see her until Royal Rumble.
Real quick, got a lot of people jumping in, a lot of people jumping out. If you're watching via YouTube, or even if we have a YouTube channel, the Walkway to Fight Club YouTube channel, just hit that subscribe button. We got a lot of subscribers in the last week or so. Hit that subscribe button and like the video and give it an old thumbs up. Watching via Facebook Live, it's simple. Got a couple reactions, give a reaction to the video. Give us a thumbs up. Tell us how you feel about the video. Like the Walkway to Fight Club Facebook page, and also follow the page as well. And leave a question or comment. We got a ton we're going to read. We'll read them at the end of the show. But no, the earliest I would go with Survivor Series, ideally it would be the Rumble. But we know how this company runs. They don't have much patience. They don't know how to. It seems like they've forgotten how to do long-term storylines. I still think it can be done in 2020. AEW's proven you can do it. If one company can do it with no writers, a company with 40 should be able to do it. I'm sorry. They should. There's no excuse for that. There's not. And anyone that says, oh, well, they got 40, it's not hard. If a team of no writers and people that have never done it before can do it, so can they. To me, that just makes no sense. I hope they hold off to the Rumble. I just honestly think they don't have the wherewithal to do. They don't have the patience. Vince doesn't anymore, and I don't know why. I think fans would get in. That's how you give the fans a reason to watch. They just don't have the patience to do that shit, and I don't know why. All right. Let's kick off. And this show couldn't, and I said this, Daryl, before you came on. This show started out horrible. Started out with the dirt sheet. And usually when you get Miz and Morrison doing this show, I'm usually all in. But this was awful. It started off using Howard Finkel's voice announcing it, which I thought was cool. I'm like, all right, okay. You got me here. But then they started doing this little game of nonsense. Miz says he's not playing mind games with Otis. He didn't use his influence for revenge, sending Mandy Rose to Raw. Said he's been in Otis's shoes before and understands the pressures of having the Money in the Bank briefcase. So that's why he sent Mandy away. So you, Otis, can focus on the Money in the Bank briefcase and the perfect time to cash in to become the Universal Champion. Otis is heartbroken, but you'll get over it, Otis. You'll see Mandy someday. And then this was the line of the segment. This line, while good, didn't change my mind about the segment. Miz and Morrison were like, well, we've heard there's already guys in the back on Raw wanting to take the bloom off of Rose. And here came Otis trucking. Cleaned some house. Gave the worm the Miz, the Vader bomb. Then he ripped. Then I'm thinking, okay, this segment's over. And I'm like, oh my God, this is terrible. But then, Vince McMahon, he likes dirty humor. He rips off the Miz's clothes. And we found out tonight the Miz wears tighty whities. I said it. And I wrote it in my notes. Tidy whities. I laughed. The segment still sucked. But Miz in his tidy whities. He's like trying to cover up with his clothes. I'm like, this segment was awful. And then he went to the sophomore humor. I don't know why in 2020 I still find that funny. Sorry about that. I find that funny, but the segment was still bad, but At least they left on kind of a high note.
They need to, if they're gonna take, they need to get Otis out of this rivalry ASAP. Like,
there's more. This wasn't the last time we seen Otis in the Miz tonight.
Oh God!
So save your comments, my friend, because it gets a lot worse. First minute, end was actually okay. Still a bad way to start the show. So I'm thinking, okay, this show is just not going well. Grand Metalik and Cesaro started off on fire. Grand Metalik's hitting hurricanranas all over the place. He's looking awesome. Before I even keep going, there was a little something I noticed when Cesaro was walking out and he walked out. Nakamura was with him. And Nakamura is the only person I've seen do this. He is wearing a mask. Hey, I don't see no cameramen wearing masks. Ring announcer isn't wearing one. But that's for here nor there.
WWE will never learn.
Looking awesome. Hit a then Lindsay Dorado and Kalisto are arguing, trying to give direction to Metalik. Do this. He was going for kind of, I don't know what he was getting ready to jump from the apron onto the top rope, and they're going like trying to give him direction. The referee kicks them out. I was like, what the hell? So him and Cesaro were battling. Then a beautiful senton onto the floor, onto Cesaro. And of course, when we see a great move, WWE goes to break. And then they did something that made and this whole first hour, this is why it sucked. They come back to commercial. Cesaro already had gained the heat back. They say Nakamura helped Cesaro gain an advantage. Did not show the video of what happened. Moments later, Cesaro hit the Gotch pile driver for the 1, 2, 3. First half of the match, I got to admit, was pretty solid. Some good back and forth action. And then just the finish came out of nowhere. What you could have done a picture-in-picture. You could have done something to show what Nakamura was going to do to Metalik. I thought that was a little hokey.
Yeah.
I thought kind of just an abrupt ending. Like, if you're going to show stuff, if stuff's going to happen during the break, and there's only going to be like another 90 seconds into the match when you come back, at least show what the hell happened. Kayla Braxton was looking good tonight, by the way. Whew. She had like a little bun going. Wasn't bad tonight. She was looking pretty fine. She interviewing Jey Uso, showing highlights from the main event from last week. Said Uso. So Kayla asked what happened. Uso said Paul, not Roman Reigns, but Paul Heyman told him that there was a miscommunication. Said he can worry about all that later. Worry about it, and they'll settle that at Clash of Champions. But tonight, Baron Corbin and Sheamus, you're going to the Uso Penitentiary. At the end, he got serious. I want to see him cut a serious promo. Because I want to see how good Jey Uso can be cutting a serious promo. I don't need the camp. Yeah, I want to see him be serious. Hopefully we get that next week. Because I need some type of hook of why I want to see him, of why he can beat Roman Reigns and become the Universal Champion. Badness kept on coming. Matt Riddle. So they're showing highlights of Matt Riddle. I'm thinking, okay, Riddle's going to be like in a squash. He's going to just wipe the tar off of somebody. We get a segment called Know Your Bro.
Oh, God.
I'm not kidding. I'll say it one more time because we got a lot of people jumping in here. Know Your Bro. And this was just as bad as the title sounds. Now, I will give Matt Riddle this. Matt Riddle tried hard to make the best of this bad situation. He was saying the word bro using different emotions. He was sad, serious, angry. It was bad. I'm a big fan of Matt Riddle. But I put on Twitter, what the hell are they doing with Matt Riddle? Someone from WWE texted me and told me and said to me, I don't know what the hell they were doing with Matt. I don't know. And I just put it. I just shrugged.
I could just hear. I could just hear Vince just constantly going. It's good shit. It's gonna be good shit. It's gonna be fun shit.
Riddle. He loves Matt Riddle. He's a Riddle fan, and I will say, and I know people are like, "Oh, he's getting paid." Don't get me wrong. This was crap. I'm not gonna sit and say it's not. I hated how they've used Matt Riddle. Beyond the first 2 weeks, I've hated everything they've done with Matt because I think he's getting vastly underutilized. But this was bad. But I will say this, and this is not defending it at all because it was still horseshit. At least he's on TV. I will hold out hope for Matt Riddle. This is when the show started to pick up just a tad. And this is kind of when things started looking better. We got a moment of Bliss with Nikki Cross. Bliss told her, how can you beat Bayley? You feuded with her all summer, and you lost. You haven't beat her in over a year. And then Nikki Cross is like, well, why are you being like that? You're my friend. And Bliss is like, well, I'm just being honest. That's what friends are. Friends are being honest with each other. And then I liked this because this is when Nikki Cross really got me hooked and got me excited for the match. She goes with it. Sasha Banks gone. She can give Bayley the beating she deserves. There's no Sasha. Sasha was helping her beat me. Now the fact that she got rid of Sasha, I can now beat Bayley and I can become the next SmackDown Women's Champion. She was intense, stared right into the camera, and made me believe. That's what you need out of these promos. Give the challenger some credibility.
Yep.
It was simple. Hey, your sidekick is gone. You're vulnerable. You're not as good without her. I'm going to beat your ass at Clash of Champions, and I'm going to become the next women's champion. Well done. Well done. Then I thought it was done. I'm thinking, okay, you're not even going to bring up the Sister Abigail. Then she brought it up. Asked Alexa what's going on with her. Why'd you hit me with Sister Abigail last week and just stare off into outer space? Bliss said, I can't explain it, but there's some type of change going on inside of me. Lacey Evans interrupts. Lacey Evans is back to being a heel, and I freaking love it.
Yep.
Hate Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans as a baby face was awful. And I remember when I talked to her, Daryl, in I think sometime in April. And when I asked her, you could just tell, in the tone of her voice, it was like, I don't want to be a baby face. Because when she was starting to make that slow turn to a baby,
yeah,
she more or less said, get me the hell out of this program. I don't want to be a baby face.
That seems to be the majority of the roster.
And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, this roster doesn't know how to make a babyface. I would demand to go back to being a heel. If you want to become a babyface, do not work for WWE.
No.
Unless you can just overcome extremely shitty booking. Like Drew McIntyre has so far. Drew McIntyre and Edge have somehow, I don't know how they have been able to overcome shitty booking. Lacey interrupts, says this Dr. Phil stuff has gone on for too long. Nikki Cross gets up, takes her handkerchief, and blows her nose in it. That was actually pretty funny because no one's ever done that to Lacey Evans. So I thought Nikki Cross looked strong in those exchanges, in the promo and then the exchange with Lacey Evans. Then they had a match. Bliss was doing commentary. A funny thing before that match, she washed her hands with hand sanitizer. She took this big bottle of hand sanitizer, which was well done. COVID protocols. Hand sanitizer. Do you have hand sanitizer, Daryl Rivera?
Yeah.
Fans. Oh, look at that, DY. Fans, everyone watching, do you guys have hand sanitizer in your house? I do not have any in my office. I got it upstairs.
I mean, my office is in the dining room here. I mean, it's a small apartment, so anything is beyond reach here. I got booze behind me. I got mask. I got gloves. I got anything within reach.
I got all of that stuff upstairs. Oh my God, man. But yeah, I got all that stuff upstairs. So okay. So the hand sign that thing cracked me up. And Cole asks if Alexa's doing okay. He keeps badgering her about it, which was really good because you can tell she's getting agitated. Graves defended her. And Cole's like, maybe you keep badgering her about it, keeps about her changing, and maybe she should explain to Nikki so she can focus on Bayley. It was really nothing. Lacey was getting the heat. Nikki fought back, hit the Stinger Splash, threw a couple punches, hit a springboard monkey flip, hit the neck breaker from the middle rope to get the pin. It was what it was. Nikki needed a win so she can look strong going into the match with Bayley. It was a nothing match. The match served its purpose. It was well done. Lacey rolled out, and she's looking at Cole, Graves, and Alexa, and Alexa's just smiling, showing her pretty teeth. Oh, she was looking good today, too. And where's the Fiend? Then, she went into this trance, got up, Sister Abigail, Lacey out of her boots, stayed in the trance, and went to break. Well done. Alexa Bliss is a hell of a character. She's one that doesn't get enough credit for how good she is. She's been doing a fantastic job. She's just not. I'm glad she's finally starting to get that credit for the work she's able to do. Because she's able to transition into a lot of different roles in terms of her character and does a great job all across the board. So a job well done.
Definitely. Alexa has always been what she lacks in the ring, she makes up for it and then some outside of it. Her mic skills, her promo work, her character development has always been good.
Yeah.
Where she lacks is obviously the in-ring work, but she makes up for it with all that stuff, that extra stuff. And that's something that can happen and can make you a good, a good attraction. And that's what made Alexa Bliss a good attraction. People wanted to see her outside of the ring.
Now, I got a question for you. Do you think she's gotten better enough in the ring to make her more credible, or do you think she still has a lot to work on in terms of in-ring?
I mean, she's gotten better, but there's still room for improvement. But if something were to happen, right now, you got to ride the hot hand for the title. Bayley, Sasha, those are the hot hands. If it wasn't them, and we were looking at somebody else, if Alexa Bliss was a champ, I wouldn't be upset about it. Because she can cut that promo. When she was a champ and trying to set up Nia Jax, trying to get her over, she did a great job at doing that. Nia Jax just dropped the ball when she finally got the opportunity. She's very good at setting up a babyface and she's really good at being the heel to somebody else's babyface. And if she gets a title run, I wouldn't be mad about it.
No, I wouldn't either. I wouldn't be. She's a great character, and she's only gotten better.
Yeah.
Right before the top of the 9 o'clock hour, Paul Heyman narrated the story between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso, and I thought it was well done. He was talking about how they came from the Inoue family, Peter Maivia, the Wild Samoans, Rikishi, and then him being the father to Jay and Jimmy, and Roman Reigns' father, Asika of the Wild Samoans, saying they were there for Roman has won world championship after world championship, while Jay has done okay and won tag titles with the help of his brother. Just that little snarkiness there I thought was really good. Said they all made, and Heyman ended with this, and I thought this line really stuck out. They all may all feast at the same table, but there's only one high chief, and that's Roman Reigns. That was well done. Like, if you're going to go the route of the video, telling stories, I'm cool with that. Because then it's showing that Reigns is superior than Uso, and the cousin needs to prove he can do stuff on his own. And they told the story, I thought, in the main event. And then I forgot all about this narration, which leads to what happened in the main event. So I thought that was well done. And they don't do a lot of those. And the fact they did that, I thought was really good. We already went over the women's segment. Then they had AJ Styles and Sami Zayn. It was good to see Sami Zayn back in the ring. There was really nothing to the match. AJ had control of most of the match, which was quite a surprise. Zayn rolled up Styles for a pin. He had the tights, and of course, a WWE official had to see that he had the tights. Zayn rolled up, then Styles reversed, rolled up Zayn for the pin, grabbed the tights as well. Zayn claimed that Styles held on to the tights, but the ref denied the claim. Here came the Intercontinental Champion Jeff Hardy, took care of Styles and Zayn with the ladder, gave the twist of fate to both guys, climbed the ladder, but Zayn rolled out of the ring, and he told Styles and Zayn he challenged them to a triple threat ladder match at Clash of Champions. Jeff Hardy looked strong, and it seems like we're going to get a ladder match, and now Jeff Hardy's here for another couple of years, so why not put Jeff Hardy in a ladder match and have him hurt himself some more? Segment was fine. What we saw with Styles and Zayn was fine. It was good for how it lasted.
Yeah.
I assumed it was going to be a non-finish, but I'm shocked they went with Styles pinning Zayn, but it was a controversial finish and grabbing the tights and so on and so forth. So I can go along with that. Hardy brings in the ladder, gets the heat. I can deal with that. I'm like, it is what it is. We knew we were getting that match anyway, so that really wasn't the end of the universe. Now, you know how we were talking about we didn't hear the last of Otis and The Miz?
Oh, God.
Are you excited, Daryl? Are you ready? Fans, are you ready? Otis and Tucker were hanging out in the locker room when Otis got served papers. Tucker explained to him that he's getting sued by The Miz and Morrison because he attacked them during the opening segment of the show. And the reason they're suing is because of Money in the Big negligence, and that the Third Sheet is a news program, and therefore they have freedom of speech and are allowed to say what they want to say. They're trying to get Otis to forfeit the Money in the Bank briefcase. Tucker told Otis he needs to find a lawyer. Otis noted they're in trouble, but Tucker's like, no, my friend, you are the only one in trouble. Then we go to the back. Now, what do you think there? Could we see, is this the way they can get the Money in the Bank briefcase off of Otis?
I mean, I think that they're booking themselves into the corner because how do you not? Nobody can figure out what the hell they're going to do with Otis. I can't see him as Universal Champion. I cannot. Can I see somebody like Morrison or Miz? Maybe. Because they're heels. That's something I can see. They're cowardly heels that can sneak in, win the title, and leave. Otis, the way they're booking him, it's awful. Awful. They haven't made him a credible threat. They keep making him in these cookie cutter BS segments with Miz and Morrison. And don't get me wrong, Miz and Morrison are great. Another tag team that should not be in a segment like this. I don't know what they're doing here. And it's hurting not only the Money in the Bank, it's hurting Otis's credibility to be champion at any point. And it's hurting Miz and Morrison because they're stuck in a segment that won't end. They're stuck in a rivalry that it's not going to end. They can both do better. And here's where we're at. We got people getting sued in the WWE for attacking another person when people get attacked every week, but the Money in the Bank guy is getting sued just because WWE. I saw a comment, somebody asking Bruce Pritchard, book something somehow. This has Bruce Pritchard's name all over it. All over it.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it does.
My God.
I did ask it. I did ask that question. I got a ha 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 emoji. So I don't know what that meant. I got no response yet. In the back, Sheamus and Corbin are talking, discussing the Samoan Street Fight. The same security guard that helped out Sheamus a couple weeks ago when he attacked Big E let Sheamus know, hey, your car is about to get towed. Sheamus ran to his vehicle. Big E was sitting there waiting with a smile on his face. Sheamus ran off as he should. So Big E beat the living shit out of this poor security guard, threw him into the steel fence, got him on top of the hood of the car, and a belly-to-belly suplex through the windshield. Adam Pearce came in, told Sheamus he had to go, and Big E was looking for Sheamus and says Sheamus is going to get his sooner rather than later. Good to see Big E. Imagine he'll feud with Sheamus for a little bit, which is fine. And a program like this, and see, this is where I have no problem with Sheamus. Because Sheamus should be the guy to give Big E good matches so he can get ready to be in the main events. Sheamus is a good guy for that.
That's what I said earlier. A veteran that can put people over.
No, but not for Roman Reigns. Not for the world champ. He should not be in a world championship program. No. A program like this, you have me. But in a main event program, upper mid card, okay, fine. Because he's a good solid hand. He's got credibility. He's a former world champion. I can be down with that. But not being in a featured world championship program. Absolutely not. But I think this is a good start for Big E. Good to see him back. And he showed the one thing he had been lacking, and I was wanting to see. Fire. Big E showed a lot of fire tonight. I want to see more of that out of Big E. That was well done. And they showed the mysterious blonde woman getting ready. I can just ruin this right now. The mysterious woman's Carmella. They should just show her. Let's just get this done. It's Carmella.
That's upsetting.
Does anybody care? Why? Carmella's. Woo-hoo! Who'd you want?
I had hopes that it was going to be Kelly Kelly.
Why?
I don't know. It fits her that fits her gimmick. She's always been like, oh, hey, it's.
I have no.
You have no what?
I have no use for Kelly Kelly in 2020.
Again, I go back to Mickie James. You brought Mickie James, and why not bring everybody else while you're at it?
I don't need to see Kelly Kelly. She's not good in the ring. She's god awful. She's as bad as Ariana Andrew.
Oh God.
I went there. Oh, yeah, I fucking went there. We already discussed. And we'll go over the main event real quickly, just because we didn't really. We just kind of give a brief thing what happened. Reigns came out first, cut a promo, saying he's gonna take care of. He can. Hold on, I was lost on my notes here. Hold on 1 second. I got my notes here. I apologize. Heyman went to speak. Roman Reigns reached out for the microphone. He came out first because he doesn't want there to be any misunderstanding. This is my yard and my island. I love that. I like the fact he says my. I wish he wouldn't have said the yard, but whatever. They threw. Uso came off the barricade onto Corbin, did a splash, and of course the camera missed it. Kevin Dunn's like the worst director in the world. Corbin threw a chair in Reigns' face. Reigns came back, but Sheamus kicked Reigns into the steps. Then he was thrown over the announce table. Reigns then came back through and announced chair right at Sheamus. Corbin, Sheamus attacked Reigns, tried for a white noise through the table. Reigns low-blowed him with then hit a Samoan drop. Going back and forth with Sheamus, put Sheamus through the barricade. Was down to Corbin and Reigns in the ring. Corbin went to get the spear. Uso hit him with the Universal title. Reigns hit the spear. Immediately, Jey Uso with the splash. The 1, 2, 3. The Samoans win the Samoan Street Fight. The Universal Champion, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso. Uso's all happy. Fane's holding up the title. Throws it back to Reigns, who's pissed off at the fact that he threw his title. Then they hugged. Reigns had this nice, beautiful smile and those horrible-looking white teeth. Hugged for a while. I'm thinking, oh, my God, please just beat his ass. He did not. Jey Uso walked off through the ring, smiling ear to ear. Heyman came into the ring. A smile turned into disdain and a snarl and a growl. The big dog is pissed, and it seems like he is going to give Jey Uso his comeuppance next week. I thought what started out as a shit show turned into a pretty good SmackDown. Now, here's something that's going to piss people off. If it will click, AEW. I'm waiting for people to get pissed at this one.
You know what's happening.
Supposed to show no bias. AEW Dynamite. The Wednesday Night Wars returned. And to the surprise of probably, even in Stamford, nobody. AEW crushed NXT in the ratings. Dynamite averaged 886,000 viewers, while NXT averaged 689,000 viewers. AEW was down 12.8%, but also up 10% from the last time they went head-to-head with NXT. NXT was down 17.8% from running unopposed last Tuesday, but up 11% from the last head-to-head week on August the 12th. Dynamite finished third for the night in the key 18 to 49 demo with a .34. It's down 8.1% from last week, but up 6% from August 12th. NXT got a .18, finishing 31st, down 15% from last week, but up 12.5% from August 12th. AEW won every demo except the people over 50, where NXT won with a .36 to AEW Dynamite's .32. AEW hit a .23 in women 18 to 49 to NXT's .13, and men 18 to 49. AEW doubled NXT with a .46 rating to NXT's .23. AEW was number one in the men 18 to 49 demo. And people 18 to 34, AEW had a huge advantage with a .24 rating to NXT's .10. AEW topped all of cable in that demo as well. In females 12 to 34, AEW had an advantage of .15 to .06. In males of the same group, AEW drew a .26 and NXT a .14. Another category, AEW led in all cable. And then people 25 to 54, AEW had a .38 to NXT's .22. The combined audience for the evening, 1.575 million viewers, down 15.2% from last week, but up 11.6% from when they both were on the same night on August the 12th. While, yes, AEW crushed WWE. But the good news is, in the key demos, the numbers were up for both shows, which is a good thing. So there is, and I was wondering what the number, you had to think, and this was just my thought, and it was from the Wrestling Observer, by the way, so people knew where I was reading that from, because they do the best job of breaking that down. 3 categories, AEW was number one. But remember, there was no NBA and no NHL playoffs. So I want that to be perfectly clear on that. But it's good news for AEW. They were number one in 3 different categories, Daryl. And I think it also shows maybe NXT needs to go to Tuesdays. Do you take that as, I looked at those numbers yesterday, and that was actually the first thought that came to my mind. I think it would be very beneficial for them. I imagine they don't like losing. I know Vince doesn't like losing. If you're Paul Levesque, because I've been told USA wouldn't mind to move to Tuesdays, but they're letting WWE do what they want because it's their product. But if I'm paying that money, I don't want to be paying money for a second place show.
No.
What do you ultimately think happens? Does Vince McMahon and Paul Levesque be like, you know what? Maybe we should go to Tuesdays. Because at the end of the day, I think it would help. You're going to give NXT more viewers, and that's only going to help the talent. It's going to help the product. It's going to help them. Not even just talent. It's going to help the company as a whole. And that can make more money for them down the line.
Definitely. And that's where I see it, where I see this going. And it's plain and simple. Just do it for the fans too. Because fans right now are being kind of happy. You have the diehard AEW, diehard WWE. But you can't sit there and tell me like an AEW fan won't watch NXT on Tuesday just because he's just an AEW fan. If you don't want to watch NXT because you're a fan of the other one, then you're not enjoying pro wrestling at its best. That's like saying, oh, I won't watch Raw because I love SmackDown. Just watch it, enjoy it. And the biggest thing is AEW does their own stuff. And I'm not trying to be biased here, but you can tell that AEW does their own programming. Whereas WWE, they did the whole NXT to make it, oh, hey, let's hurt AEW. They're not leaving them alone. Give the fans what they want. Give them a chance to watch both shows. Benefit yourself. You'll get more viewers that way. Because NXT is an amazing product with amazing talent, with amazing storylines. Stop giving fans, basically you either watch them or you watch us, because that's hurting your product when you have a parking lot brawl that the Best Friends and Santana Ortiz had, because that was amazing, going up against I forgot Punishment Martinez's name in NXT. Damian Priest. And when you got Damian Priest versus Timothy Thatcher, which was also great, but I'd rather see a parking lot brawl because that's more entertaining at the time. You're hurting your own talent by doing that. And then at the end of the day, Vince, being Vince, he's going to blame who? The talent for not being able to beat the other guys. When in reality, you should just have 2 different nights, 2 separate shows, give the fans what they want so everybody can maximize their opportunity. Stop trying to crush your company. Basically benefit yourself, make yourself more money, give your talent more exposure by being in an entirely separate night. You can make the case, they'll be on with Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling doesn't hold a foot to anything that NXT has to offer. And Impact has a great product, but they will still not hold the candle to NXT.
No, you're not wrong on that at all. As great as Impact is doing, don't get me wrong. I think what they're doing over there is some really good stuff. But no, You're exactly right on that. I just don't think they're going to do it. That old man is so stubborn. And that's what I've been told. That would show, and I said this, I don't know if you were on with me when I said this. It would be a sign of weakness of them going to Tuesday nights. It would be admitting defeat. And congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers winning game 1 of the conference finals. 126-114. Denver put up 114. Holy cow, that's amazing.
How about Denver?
No Denver could put up 114. But if the
Lakers, Denver could beat the Clippers.
I didn't think they could beat the Clippers either. Man, that was down 3-1. Sounds like they may have been a little tired. But if the Lakers are going to score 126, you're not beating the Lakers. I'm sorry, that's not going to work on LeBron's watch. But
let's be realistic here.
Exactly. But back to what we were talking about here. But that would be conceding defeat. And knowing Vince McMahon, he doesn't handle defeat very well. So
he's gonna have to, or else he's gonna keep getting crushed every week.
Exactly. So we will see. But you wanted to talk about the match that Eva Lise and Thunder Rosa from Dynamite. What did you think?
So I as soon as I texted you that, I went back to just to see what happened. I was watching the match again, and it looks like, from what I saw and read, Thunder Rosa was, doing her offense, and she takes pride in being the NWA champion, which she should. It's prestigious and it carries a lot of weight. Apparently, Eva Lise was not selling to Thunder Rosa standards, and they just went and shot at each other the rest of the match. And kudos to them, because I didn't notice that. In my opinion, that's a good thing. If you're good, not that you're shooting on your fellow opponent, but the fact that you are able to make it work and still carry on the match without killing each other after that happened. And there's a lot of, because they're building up to Hikaru Shida and Thunder Rosa versus Eva Lise and Diamante next week.
Next week, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big matchup. I just hope that they can get over, whatever differences they have, because they shot at each other hard. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, how did they get away with this and still manage to finish the match? And you know what? Kudos to both of them. But it was something that's hopefully it doesn't affect the matchup for next week, because I think that's a really good match to have, especially for a women's division that still is trying to find their stride in AEW. I think this is something that can start moving them in the right direction.
I know there's a lot of people pissed off at Eva Lise. Yeah. Because she started shooting first. And Thunder Rosa's an MMA fighter, so she handled herself just fine. And she was going to fight back.
Eva Lise does have a past of this. It happened in Lucha Underground. It happened when she started in WWE. It has happened in the independents. This is something that is not out of her character.
Like you said, it's not new.
Yeah.
So she's not under a full-time deal. Well, neither is Thunder Rosa. But her and Diamante are not on full-time deals. They're still on a per-match basis with AEW. I know people that are not very happy with her, and I don't really blame them. This was the talk of wrestling on Wednesday and Thursday. Everyone, I talked to people in AEW and WWE. This made its way to Orlando Wednesday night. They were watching. Put it that way. And I was a fan of it because I rewatched it back. Me and you talked about it. I rewatched it while I was eating dinner. And man, they were going hard. Eva Lise started it. And Thunder Rosa, they kept going. And it made it a fun match, though, I thought. Because it was good to see. And I know AEW wasn't that pissed because they were bringing them back. Hopefully we just don't see more of this.
No.
If we do, hopefully it doesn't go too far. Is what I hope happens. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like you mentioned, it made the match more entertaining. And I'm not saying, hey, let's just shoot on each other for the rest of the year. But it's stuff like that. People are trying to make wrestling as realistic as possible. That gives you an edge. But recognize that now that you got the fans' attention, make it into a storyline, but don't get carried away. because that's shit that can get your, cost you your job and your reputation among the wrestling business. You can see, anybody remember she was in Lucha Underground, got a deep heat against Rosemary in AAA. Sexy Star. Yes. Sexy Star was a great worker. She was a Lucha Underground champion and now is blackballed from the entire wrestling industry because she purposely broke Rosemary's arm. Nowhere to be seen. Now she's boxing. Fun fact.
Think about that for a second. No one really knows. That's a very good point. No one knows that either. No one really pays attention to that. All right, let's get. Hopefully, we don't get too much of that more. I do agree. All right, let's start. Got tons, but we're gonna bounce around a little bit here. Richard McPhee, more Sami Zayn, and screwing Otis is weak. Daryl, you brought that up. You are spot on that one, Richard. I'm going from Richard. Bayley and Sasha is built so good. I'm not a huge women's wrestling fan, but they hit it out of the ballpark. They sure have. Yeah. It's the one thing I'm glad they're doing is more investing in this women's division. It's a good thing that they're doing. And that's the problem. You don't get that enough. Women's wrestling doesn't deserve to get shit on all the time. And it's good to see that they're so invested here. Not just this storyline, the Alexa Bliss storyline as well. What they're doing with Baszler and Nia, as much as I know people don't like them, I think what they're doing is good. I like that. Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan get back. Like, they're creating angles for these women that are making sense.
Yeah.
And they're not insulting our intelligence. What they've been doing, I think, with this is well done. I agree with you here, Richard. Like, I never used, and I'll admit this, I never used to be the biggest fan of women's wrestling. I thought because it was always treated, and you know this, Daryl, it was treated as the redheaded stepchild of pro wrestling.
They would go for a minute.
Yeah, they were good for a minute in bra and panties. Now, more often than not, the women's matches are the best matches on the damn show. And that's a great thing to see.
Definitely. And it's you can see it in any company. You see it in WWE. You see it in AEW starting to pick up steam there. You see it in Impact. Impact, they had Tessa Blanchard be the world champion. Exactly. Not the women's world champion, the overall world champion.
The world's heavyweight champion.
The most over talent in that entire company at one point.
All I'm going to say is we're going to be hearing Tessa Blanchard news very soon. That's all I'm going to say.
And we'll talk after.
I'm not even telling you. I'm kidding. You may. I'm kidding. We'll talk about it after the show. Hey, Richard, Heyman gives the angle more polish, and Reigns is an awesome heel, a much better heel than a babyface.
Most talent is a better heel than a babyface. It's easier to get booed than to get cheered. That's all I'm going to say.
You know what the sad part is?
What?
It should not be like that.
Wrestling fans are weird, man. Wrestling fans are weird, my man. They're the best fans ever, but they're weird.
And I always say this because I was on an ESPN affiliate last night in Houston. The shock to me, usually we're not allowed to do ESPN radio, but ESPN invited me. They invited me on. I went on. We talked some pro wrestling. And I'm like, this is great. They were like, and I was asked a question of like which fan base is more passionate. And I said, without a doubt, and I always think I get asked this question a lot when I do radio spots. The pro wrestling fan is the most passionate fan in combat sports. And it's not even close.
Nope.
It is so amazing. Like, I look at, because I'm big in the numbers, and I look at like our traffic at DAZN and Sporting News for combat. and I'll look at like our stuff for the podcast and everything, and it's like it just blows my mind away of how invested the pro wrestling fan is. It's I think it's great. You guys are amazing. You guys are fantastic. You know, and I give it a ton of credit. You know, I've never seen I get more wrestling questions, Daryl, than I do MMA or boxing questions. More often than not.
And you can call it controlling the narrative. Vince McMahon said it best at one point. You can create superstars, you can create characters people invest in if you control the narrative. And I'm not saying that UFC should start controlling the narrative by any ways, but that's where they struggle to build superstars. People kind of get invested in a fighter, and one bad loss can just derail the entire career.
Exactly.
And then you're looking for a new guy.
Exactamundo. All right, another question from Richard. Reigns had X-Pac heat as a face, and now I'm digging Reigns. I'm shocked I'm saying that. Man,
So
Richard's not the first. I've been getting that. I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter and Facebook and everything and Instagram making that same comment of the X-Pac heat. I remember talking to X-Pac about that a couple of years ago, and he chuckled. He's like, "You're not." He admitted, he's like, "You're not wrong." He's like, he definitely has my type of heat, and not in a good way. So that's a very good assessment. All right, Matt Ward. I have a theory on this match. What if Jimmy Uso cost Jay the match because the Usos have hinted on breaking up for singles runs? Whoo! Huh. That's interesting. I never even thought of that. I would be so freaking down for that. I don't think it's going to happen, but if it did, no.
I'm going to be realistic about it, because I would love to see an Uso versus Uso match. I think that would be awesome. But
okay.
I'm going to be realistic. I don't see either of them as singles players at all. And I hate saying it because I think Jey Uso's done a great job in the past 2-3 weeks. But it's just, you can't see the Usos as anything other than a tag team. And that's just how they've been booked. And they're a tag team. You can't see them out of it. At least I can.
Okay. Drew McPhee, Reigns deserve respect. Him and Heyman are gold. They're a big part, and to me, I think them and then Bailey and Banks are the reasons why SmackDown's ratings have been up. You give people a reason to want to watch every week, people will watch. You give compelling characters and compelling stories, people will watch. Look at what's going on SmackDown. The ratings have been going up the last 4 weeks. And those 4 people are the reason why. Now, they got a problem on Mondays because they got to deal with Monday Night Football, and Raw's in a lot of trouble. They're going back to Drew McIntyre and Keith Lee.
Oh, dear Lord.
I was about to ram my head. I was about to throw my pillow at my 65-inch TV. It's hanging on my beautiful brick wall in my living room. I was pretty pissed. I was that mad. Like, what are we doing? Doing this again, DY. Why? Why, oh, why, oh, why?
I couldn't even tell you why.
It's so much.
It's stupid.
It makes me want to cry. That's all I'm going to say. Richard, I expect Heyman's facials at Clash of Champions will be great and add drama. I think WWE will book some screwy finish. I think a screwy finish would be a horrible idea.
Agreed.
Heyman's facials are amazing. Paul's definitely going to do that. But I think a screwy finish, I don't know what you think, Daryl, but a screw job finish only would knock down Roman and knock down his credibility.
Nope. Agreed. This is Roman's first title defense. He should look. You have to book him as, hey, I'm beating someone's ass, and that's it. Wreck and leave. That's all you have to do on Sunday. Wreck Jey Uso and leave. You had a chance to make this a 2-month program. You only give it 2 weeks. These are the consequences. You can only go. You can't have a screwy finish because then you're taking priority in making Uso look stronger than Roman Reigns. That's not your priority here.
No, the priority is to make Roman Reigns the badass heel.
Yep.
That's the objective here. Now, Richard has a counterpoint, and this is interesting. They could book a fluke win for Uso and have him lose his first defense on SmackDown to pop a Fox rating, be a transitional champion.
Not a fan.
No.
Like, I can see where he's going with it, but it's just not something that you should do this early in his reign.
If this was November, December, okay, I can be on that path. But less than a month in, no, I can't go that. First title, like I agree with you, Daryl. First title defense, you can't go that route.
No.
All right, Richard. Somewhere down the line, I see Lesnar coming back, and they tease Lesnar Reigns 10 chip, but they form a superpower stable. The eventual Heyman turns on Lesnar, shocking angle.
I've seen the Heyman turning on Lesnar thing before. I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
But that was almost 18 years ago.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it again just because it's a bigger shock factor. Back then, you can still everybody knew. Oh, Lesnar's gonna be. They're making him a baby. Yeah, the big baby face. Nowadays, people can't see Lesnar as a baby face. Everybody knows too much about him. Everybody knows that he hates people. He probably hates you. He doesn't even know you, and he hates you.
I will admit, the one time I did a one-on-one with Brock Lesnar could not have been a better human being. And I remember saying when we did about 15 minutes, the UFC gave me. And I remember we were done, the camera was off, and I go, you know what? I'm like, I had heard so many mean things about you. And he's like, really? And he like said in this growly tone, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, people said you weren't very nice. And I'm like, he's like, well, what do you think of me now? And I'm like, I always thought you were great. I'm like, I can get why you don't like being interviewed. I'm like, you're a reclusive guy, and you'd rather be on the farm and in the tractor, and you'd rather just show up to fight, not do no media, pound someone's face in, and walk off and collect your check and walk off into the sunset. He's like, you get me pretty well. And I'm like, well, thank you. And he's like, well, this was a good interview. And I'm like, I was shocked. So my one
and then he grabbed you, F5'd you on the table, and he called it a day.
I was so shocked because it was before, and then I figured out why. Because then he retired after the fight. It was when he lost to Overeem. I'm like, son of a bitch. He was gonna leave anyway. So he was, of course he was gonna be nice. Freaking got me. But it was still fun. My one Brock Lesnar experience, I have to admit, it was very fun. I'm not gonna lie. He can be a snarly guy, though. He definitely can be. Let's see. They say Sheamus only got his push because he was Triple H's workout buddy. That is 100% true. That is not a... But to Sheamus's credit, and I don't want to sit here and this being like I'm knocking Sheamus best. Sheamus is talented. Even at that time. Very talented. He was green. But he turned into a really good worker. I'll admit that. I think he's a great worker. But he's at this stage of the game now to where I don't need to see him in the main event picture. I want to see new talent get opportunities.
Yeah.
That's all I want to see now in wrestling. I want to, unless you're an established talent that's people can buy into, you have credibility. I don't think Sheamus has that. We talked about Bruce Pritchard earlier. Richard McPhee, Bruce Pritchard booked quick title changes and Impact with James Storm losing to Bobby Roode and Bully Ray losing to Chris Sabin. So a Jey Uso flash win could possibly happen, but he loses the first title defense. I try to block out Bruce Pritchard's unceremoniously his I don't want to say unceremoniously. His unfortunate run in Impact. I try to block a lot of that. That was like the Hogan regime.
Oh, God.
Pritchard. Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say about that. But James Storm's now a free agent. Where does James Storm go? Does he go to AEW or does he now go to NXT? Or does he go to Impact?
I would like to see him back in Impact, personally.
You know what? I have this feeling he may. I wouldn't mind that. I know he's still on good terms with WWE when he had that short stint in NXT. I know WWE would be interested. I agree with you, though.
Let's recreate beer money. Let's make it a thing.
But you need Bobby Roode to get out of WWE. And Bobby Roode is right now still stuck in Canada.
Oh, no, I'm saying make beer money somehow in WWE.
That I can get behind. Okay.
I don't think they'll be as good as they were in Impact, but I can only dream.
We can only dream, but WWE would somehow screw it up.
Oh yeah, they're curb stomp it to the freaking.
But with Paul Levesque, maybe not. I do have faith in Paul Levesque. So if they get put in NXT, I could be cool with that because I think that Paul Levesque would see the value in it and not just crush it like a bug.
I'm at the point where I don't want to see any NXT superstars going to either Raw or SmackDown. I just want to see them stay. Like, don't go. I see what the other side looks like.
You're not gonna get that lucky. The camera angle stuff with the attack from behind was first rate. Oh my god, that attack was great. The camera work, and that wasn't given enough credit either. And that's a great point. The camera work on that sneak attack was amazing. It's the one time Kevin Dunn and his production team did something good tonight. Instead of missing Jey Uso's splash off the barricade, which is horrible. But no, that's a very good point.
You mean the same production crew that missed Edge's first spear back in 10 years?
You went batshit crazy when that happened. Matt Ward pulled a Latino heat when she sat in a chair like Eddie did when he attacked her. Good little nuance there because Sasha Banks is a huge Eddie Guerrero fan. So that's a very good point there. Well, man, you guys are some smart people here. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Great job, guys. All these comments tonight.
Yep.
Their feud has been built like a WrestleMania program. We discussed that already. Matt Ward, Sasha versus Bayley, Hell in a Cell. We talked about this earlier. If they and then we said this before, you can't blow your load on the first shot in the first big match.
Yeah.
We already talked about
I hate how the pay-per-views are now gimmick matches. I hate that. Hell in a Cell lost its mystique so hard just because of that. Like you could have had this like, oh hey, WrestleMania Hell in a Cell match. Now we're cooking. But you had to make it a pay-per-view in itself and kill the entire fucking match.
Why are you surprised?
I'm not surprised. I'm bitter about it.
I can never be surprised in anything this company does. I can't. Because they will probably do that. Sasha will be gone because she has to promote Star Wars for Disney+.
Great for her, by the way.
Oh my god! Do you see the trailer? The trailer is awesome.
Awesome stuff. Yeah,
she's gonna be on season 2 in The Mandalorian. Her and Gina Carano on the same show.
Did we lose him? I think we lost Steve.
Let's
Stevie.
Oh,
Stevie, buddy. You there?
Hey, I'm here.
There he is.
Who would you rather sleep with? Sasha Banks or Gina Carano?
I say Sasha Banks.
I'm picking both.
You can't pick both. No, bullshit. You got to pick one.
I want a threesome, damn it.
No, you get one. That's it. So that's a scapegoat. No, you got to pick one.
Okay, but I got to pick one. You're putting. If I had to pick one, I would go with. I would go Gina Carano. It's a hard one.
There's no wrong choice there.
Oh my god, it's a hard one. It is it is very, very hard. All right, let's see. Miz and Richard McPhee, Miz and Morrison, so corny. And that sucks. Because those two together used to be funny. Now, horrid. Absolutely terrible. They're trying to get people behind. Otis, but I feel it's doing the opposite, leading him to burial. Someone agrees with you, Daryl. Richard agrees with you, and they're killing off poor Otis. It is a shame, and it is a tragedy. Now, here is a very good statement here. Otis is turning into the next Damien Sandow cash-in. I feel this only hurts Otis, drops him straight to the mid-card. This is a very good point here. I think this is definitely going to turn into a Damien Sandow situation. I pray to God that we are wrong, but I have a feeling, Daryl, that's what's going to end up happening.
And it's a shame. It's a shame. Because they can't.
It's a damn shame.
It's WWE at its finest. They can never learn from their past mistakes. Never.
Matt Ward, shots fired at Ryder because that was a game he did on his show. I'm confused.
He's talking about the Know Your Bro.
Oh! I don't even know. You know what he's talking about? Because I didn't know Zack Ryder did that.
I think it was his internet thing.
Okay.
On the Long Island show.
Oh, Long Island.
Long Island Z, yeah.
More Sami Zayn. As much as I hear he is a MAGA, he gets people talking. He's a magnet. Sami Zayn's been great since his return. And I give Sami Zayn a ton of credit. He was getting a good push. He was getting some traction, and then with COVID, he's like, I'm bouncing. I don't want to be around this bad environment. I'm going back home. I give him a ton of credit because I give the guys that did that, guys and girls, a ton of credit because they said, "Screw you, I'm going to be safe with my family."
Yep.
Yeah, and it was a risk because WWE's very vindictive. But you know what? I give Sami a ton of credit. He's a great character. He was on a good run. He came back and he's still being kept in a good spot for now. So, but no, everything Sami's done since he returned has been very well. Richard, I'm not digging Nikki Cross. Her ring work is good, just not a fan of the odd, crazy gimmick.
I mean,
I like Nikki Cross. I like the gimmick.
I like the gimmick because it stemmed from sanity. That's what people often forget. Nikki Cross came with sanity, and she's the only thing that was left of that. And I mean, it worked for her. It got her over. She's stuck with it. And I'm fine with it. I don't hate her. I don't hate her character at any point.
No, not at all. Richard, I find Lacey Evans' in-ring work sloppy. You're not wrong. And that's the part that's really... She hasn't progressed. She's very good on the mic. Just her in-ring work is still so far behind. And I don't... This is a situation of where a talent that was brought up way, way, way too soon and then got the monster push right away.
Yep.
That should have been a situation of where they should have kept her in NXT and let her get more time. There was no need to bring her up that soon. Because now she's still paying for it and she's still very behind. Her going back to NXT, I don't think Daryl would be the worst thing in the world at this point.
No. And there's a long list of talent that if that happened, it wouldn't be the worst for them either.
No, not at all.
A long list of talent could benefit from a stint in NXT. Look at what it's doing for Breezango.
Oh my God, yeah. It's done wonders for Tyler Breeze and Fandango, I think. Look what it's done for Finn Balor. Finn Balor's got a new lease on life. He's beyond happy, from what I've been told, that he is back in NXT. There's a lot of talent that wishes they can go back. I'll put it that way.
I wouldn't mind seeing KO back down there.
Well, you're not the only one. All right.
I bet he's one of them too.
Alexa Bliss is underrated.
Agreed.
That's not a good statement. Absolutely. And you said it perfectly, Daryl, with everything going on right now in the women's division. And this is the thing we gave them credit for earlier. They're putting them in a good storyline. They're putting all the key women in storylines and giving them a purpose. And Alexa's going to get that time again. Yeah. I don't know when, but she's going to be put in a very big spot here pretty soon, it seems like. So, but no, she is under.
The only thing that worries me is that this is going to be the old song and dance where the monster gets feelings for the pretty girl and then he doesn't become a monster anymore and then it kills the entire character. Kane circa 2004. Fuck.
Heyman should never have been fired from creative. Seems like there's a lot of jealousy of guys in the back that are not like the guys Heyman was pushing. That is very true. That is not wrong. Look at what's happened to Aleister Black. Look at what's happening to Andrade. AOP got fired. I don't know why. Heyman's such a smart guy. And I still don't know what the whole reasoning is of Vince getting rid of him as the head of being the executive director of Raw. I know everyone's been very, very, very tight-lipped on that situation. So,
yeah.
I think I know the people at USA were really high on what he was doing because it was pushing younger talent and building for the future instead of going back to the old song and dance. And USA is still not happy from the last I was told when I last asked about it.
No, they should be.
Here's a good one. Kelly is terrible. You're damn right, Richard. She's terrible. Don't get me wrong. Kelly's fine as hell. And Kelly can ride the train on the Steve Muehlhausen Express. But I don't want to see her ass in the ring. Unless she's never.
Please put the next one. The next one.
Kelly is pure TNA. Nothing more. God, nothing more. God awful in the ring. Dream match would be Kelly versus Eva Marie. That would be epic.
Doesn't that sound like the biggest train wreck in the world?
You know what? Richard's not wrong. Richard's not wrong in the matter. That's all she is. Kelly and Eva Marie? Sign me up.
Oh, God.
Sign me up. Let's get a now listen. Let's get a pool. And let's get some pudding.
You know it's not going to happen in 2020. I can tell you that right now. Kelly versus Eva Marie would be Botchamania 101.
I'll give Eva Marie credit. She's doing some good shit in Hollywood.
Good for her, yeah.
She's doing really good stuff in Hollywood, and then she's transitioned to that very well.
Good for her. Stay out of wrestling.
Yeah. Matt Ward, Santana, and Ortiz versus Best Friends parking lot brawl was awesome. That Matt Ward, you are correct.
That
capped off what I thought was the best, and I watched Dynamite yesterday. I watched it last night. That was the best Dynamite in a while. Dynamite, the AEW just keeps churning out great Dynamites. But that main event, I'm glad that got the headline. Because that was worth the headlining spot. I was a little concerned they were like, oh man, this is the headlining spot. This is going to suck. But they delivered, man.
That was awesome.
They delivered. The match was fantastic. The ending was really good. I have no problems with them doing that. I thought that was great.
Trent Beretta flipping off the camera. That's just great stuff. It's the little things, man. It's the little things.
Little things, man. Had his mom's car, had the minivan. Hey, it was all freaking good, baby. Okay. I'm going to post this, and there's a reason I am going to, because I'm going to defend this. Dave Meltzer is a biased AEW guy. He rides AEW's dick so hard, he must be on the payroll. Okay. I don't say this just because I'm friends with Dave. I say this because I know it's wrong. He's not on the payroll. Dave has a certain type that he likes about wrestling. And that's okay. He praises a lot of WWE. He's also critical of AEW. And I got to send you those logins so you can listen to those podcasts and you can read the newsletters and everything like that. And prepare for our special show next week, Mr. Rivera. I will do that tomorrow morning. Dave does get a lot of flack because Dave is the most notable wrestling journalist, and he is the godfather of combat sports journalism. He really is. Where comes more notoriety becomes with more responsibility. And Dave gets stuff wrong. I get stuff wrong. Journalism's a hard job. We will admit when we do something wrong. We make mistakes. We do our best to correct them. Does he show maybe more of a bias? I really honestly don't think so. There's times where he will, but his reasoning, he doesn't just come out and be blunt and then he just goes forward. He'll defend why, and he'll give his reasons why. And I respect that. It's not just a straight pure bias. He'll say when they do something shitty. He'll say when they do something wrong. The same thing with WWE. Same thing with New Japan. And the same thing with Impact, Ring of Honor, and anything going on in MMA and or boxing. So I wanted to read that because Dave does give. Dave gets a lot of flack for that. Yeah. You're impartial, Steve. But Meltzer's relationship with Omega and Young Bucks makes him look unprofessional. You know, I'm not. He does have a relationship with those guys. I know he does. I have relationships with some people. I keep it very distant. You know, Dave's got a journalism degree. Dave was originally in newspapers. For people that don't know, he was a newspaper writer. He was a sports writer. And you know, our job, and I taught you this. And I was taught this day one at Columbia. one thing is you don't plagiarize. Second rule, you have to be impartial to what you're covering. It's not hard. And you cultivate relationships. And I got relationships with people in UFC. I got relationships with people in AEW. I got relationships with people in WWE. I have relationships with people in TNA. And I have some relationships with people in Ring of Honor. But it doesn't preclude me from being critical. And I will be critical. Now, you write pieces. I write more features. I write news stuff for Sporting News and DAZN, but I write mainly. I wrote a good feature that's up with Colby Covington, and the feature was based around him saying he doesn't care about the title. He wants, after Tyron Woodley, he wants Jorge Masvidal. He views those two fights as bigger fights than the title, and I commend him for that. It was a different, and I put at the beginning, it was a different Colby Covington than I interviewed. I think Colby Covington is a loudmouth. I think he's obnoxious. But I also can put that bias aside, that not bias, but those feelings I have, how I think about him personally, because I think he's a fantastic fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. You don't become a world champion by being a shit fighter. He's become an attraction. Yes, and I said it, and the preview show is up. I do go into Colby Covington. I go into Tyron Woodley. For as loud of a mouth as Colby Covington has, I did notice a different tone in him during the interview I did with him on Wednesday. And the audio of that will be up tomorrow morning. And you guys can listen to yourselves. He goes into old Colby in a few spots. And I chuckled because it was funny. I have no problem expressing my feelings. I laughed. We talked about Donald Trump. He said some derogatory about Tyron Woodley. He said derogatory stuff about Jorge Masvidal. But it was a different tone from Colby Covington than we're used to hearing. Being impartial is the biggest thing about this job. It is. You can't have a bias. It's hard. Because I was a fan first. You were a fan first, Daryl. We get into this because we're fans. But the journalism does have to come on.
Yep.
And I do appreciate that, Richard. That does mean a lot. But that's off of that soapbox. Not soapbox, but I don't like talking about myself. AEW Dark on YouTube is good too. Daryl, do you watch any AEW Dark? I really have not been able to get into that. And I want you so bad.
Occasionally when I see like a name that I recognize, that I've seen in the indies and stuff like that, I should be watching it more because it's a good showcase for talent that's not very well known. Like they get good exposure. You can see what they can do in the ring, and it gives them that platform. Like Brian Pillman Jr. is one of the guys that I've been recently paying attention to. He got a couple matches in AEW Dark.
What do you think of him? Do you think he can be? Do you think he has a chance to be main event, or do you think he's kind of going to be like mid card, upper mid card, or is it still really too early to tell?
I think it's too early to tell. I like him. He's young. He's learning at his talent level right now. He's a mid carder, but he has potential to be a main event guy.
I think so.
In my opinion, he has the charisma to do it, and he has the ability to. I saw him live at Cicero Stadium against Low Key, and that guy can sell. He can sell like nobody's business. And honestly, I saw him, and I became a fan. I'm listen, I like this guy. I'm going to follow him and see where he goes from here.
Now, his situation is, from what I've been told, is that he still has a deal with MLW, but MLW is letting him do per shot deals with AEW. So we will be seeing him. MLW is going to be taping in a couple weeks out on the East Coast. And you'll be able to see those shows at the beginning of November on DAZN. A little cheap plug out there. And cheap plug. interviews coming up with some MLW people and pro wrestling people and MMA people.
How about the Parks all in MLW?
LA Park Jr., that was awesome news today.
Love it.
They've been trying that one for a while. They've been trying to get Junior in, and they were able to get him in. I think that's a nice signing. That really is. And
the royal families together. Love it.
Here's a good one here. From Tayshawn Smith. The Rock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 37.
Take my money.
Now this was teased by Roman Reigns when they announced last year they were going to Los Angeles for WrestleMania 37. Obviously, things have changed in the world. If there are fans allowed, and then this is, I don't know anything. I haven't asked, and I can ask this actually. I would think this would not happen if there's no fans. I think if there are fans, you will see this match. I don't know at WrestleMania 37. I have a different idea for Roman Reigns for WrestleMania 37. But if Dwayne is available, and I don't know if he's going to be now with everything going on, and his stuff's been getting pushed back, and he's back to filming that Netflix movie, which him and Ryan Reynolds got a shit ton of money, and good for them. If he's got the time, I think this match happens only if there's fans. Are you of that same sentiment, or do you think fans or no fans, this match is going to happen at this year's WrestleMania?
The Rock, when you hear The Rock, you hear the roar of the crowd. He's one of those guys that you have to watch, especially at this time of his career. He's a one-match attraction per year. You have to have fans. Without fans, it's not the same. Without fans, you, especially of a guy that hasn't wrestled, his last match was when? 2015? If I remember correctly.
Well, if we're going to count the match with Eric Rowan, then 2016.
Then 2016, yeah. But it's like The Rock can probably train because the guy trains his ass off every day. He could probably get an in-ring shape, but at the same time, when you have no fans, a lot of that stuff gets exposed. You get The Rock, you need fans in the stadium.
I agree with that. I hate agreeing with you, but yeah.
We've been, yeah.
Is Impact trying to work with AEW? Yes. They've had conversations. Not in a while, but I know last year they were talking. As of recently, no. I know Impact's wanted to work with them, but as of right now, no. Right now, but AEW is open to working with everybody. Ring of Honor, New Japan, they are working with the NWA, but they're trying. They want to. The AEW has this philosophy is that we'll work with anybody, but we'll see. I hope they eventually agree to work with New Japan. I think that's just best for all parties, but we'll see what happens. And we'll end with this. 2K Battleground. I was wondering if someone was going to bring this up. Hinted at the signing of Tessa Blanchard. Now, here's the latest on this situation. In the game, there was they took a old press photo that Impact had of Tessa Blanchard. And they put that into the game. Now, they didn't credit the photographer. The photographer brought it up on Twitter today. He's pretty pissed. And I don't really blame him.
Nope.
All I know about Tessa Blanchard at this point of the game is she will be signing with either AEW or WWE. have a good feeling where she's going to go. It's going to be a great spot for her. Wherever she ends up, she's a once in a generational talent. In terms of female wrestling, she really is. And that is about as much as I know. She's gonna be somewhere I'll put it this way. She will be somewhere soon. How soon I don't actually know, but she will be somewhere soon. What do you think, Melina going back to? We'll end with Melina actually. Melina going back to WWE.
I don't hate it. Nice, nostalgic. We got to see how she comes back. She was doing good stuff in NWA.
Really good promos. It's always been a good promo though.
She could be a good mouthpiece for somebody like she used to be for Eminem. But we gotta.
Too bad Morrison's married. Her and Morrison can re-hook up. And be interesting to see what she's going to do. And that was reported by PW Insider.
Yeah,
her return is imminent. They're saying within the next week.
Maybe she's going up next against Asuka. Maybe Asuka's gonna go on this whole 2005 Divas run where she's taking every single one of them down and ending at WrestleMania against Michelle McCool. And you know what? I don't hate that. I
don't hate it either. Maybe we'll get some Tori Wilson along the way. Maybe some Stacy Keibler. Swing better. We did forget one. How about Moose calling out the demo god? This week. See, I didn't see Impact yet, so I don't. Impact I watch on Saturday mornings. Impact is my Saturday morning. I got designated times for my wrestling. Impact I always watch on Saturdays. So Richard, I can answer that question. Daryl, unless did you watch Impact this week?
I'd be lying if I told you I did.
Okay, we'll have to. Richard, we will watch Impact, and then we will have an answer for you tomorrow night when we review the UFC show. So we will have an answer for you then. And we'll answer this one more before we head out of here. Over to 2 hour. You guys are just bombarding with questions tonight. I love it. Melina manages Andrade while Zelina wrestles.
I love that. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it, Matt Ward. I don't hate it. I like it. I like it a lot. Good. I like that one. We'll end with that one because that was a good comment. Very good. Man, you guys bombarded us today with questions, comments. Love it. Thank you to everyone. We had a lot of people watching tonight. It means a lot. It's greatly appreciated. You can find us on YouTube. Just subscribe to the Walkway to Fight Club. It's as simple as that, guys. Watching via YouTube, or even if you're watching on Facebook, we have a YouTube. There's a YouTube channel. YouTube.com. I now have it's youtube.com/The Walkway to Fight Club. It's simple. Just hit the subscribe button. Like the video. If you're watching on Facebook, even if you're watching on YouTube, this was on Facebook Live. It's simple. Give a reaction to the video. Follow the Walkway to Fight Club. And also like the page as well. Facebook.com/The Walkway to Fight Club. Also on Twitter at Walkway Fight. On Instagram, Walkway to Fight Club, all in lowercase letters. Daryl, where can the fans find you on social media?
Right here, DYBoDeagle21 on Twitter. And then on Instagram, Daryl17 Rivera. And then, that's all I got.
Find me on Twitter at SMuehlhausenJR. I am on Instagram. I promise tomorrow. I have nothing going on tomorrow. I am going to sit in my underwear until I got to start work tomorrow at 4 o'clock. God, that's going to be a long UFC show. But the show is going to be awesome. At SMuehlhausen MMA. The podcast is also going to be available in audio, whether it's iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or any of your favorite podcasting platforms. You guys have been listening. Keep subscribing, rate, review, download. I know I keep bugging you about this. It's very important you guys do that. Give us a 5-star rating and tell us why we're good. If you're going to give us a 1 star, tell us what stuff. Always greatly appreciated. This will be up probably within the next hour. The Colby Covington interview will be up tomorrow morning and on YouTube only. And we'll pump out the link early tomorrow. I did a preview as Daryl was unable to do it, so I did it earlier this afternoon. Preview UFC Vegas 11 or UFC Fight Night, whatever the hell you want to call it. Go in depth on the main event. Colby Covington, Tyron Woodley, and the co-main featuring Donald Cerrone and Nico Price. I give odds for both of those fights, who you should go with and why, and also give my main card predictions for the show. We will see you guys tomorrow night as we will recap the main card of the show and anything else going on that happens in the next 24 hours in the world of MMA and professional wrestling. For the man on the right, Daryl Rivera, I am Steven Muehlhausen. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Peace. We're out of here.